In the darkness of the night, a man was standing on top of a ship looking at the vast ocean. There was no expression on his face. Then a man comes running towards him. Boss, madam has been attacked. He speaks under control, his breathing. Hearing this, his eyes turn red with anger. How is she? Madam's condition is bad right now. He clenches his fist after hearing this. Get the jet ready. We will leave for Korea in 30 minutes. Cool tone. Hearing this, the man leaps from there. Princess, you are my obsession. No one can take you away from me unless I want to take you away from me. And whoever tried to snatch you from me, I will punish him in such a way that he will tremble after hearing my name. He says this with obsession. A Rolls Royce car stops outside the hospital, and a man comes out of it. The man's eyes were red. It looked as if he had not slept. Daniel, he was that man's assistant. Yes, boss. Tighten the security of the hospital. Okay, boss. The man starts going inside the hospital, followed by his assistant and his bodyguard. The doctor was sitting in his cabin, checking some reports, when a nurse came to his cabin without knocking. What kind of behavior is this, nurse? Sorry, doctor, but it is very important, so I came without knocking. What happened? Doctor, Mr. Jungkook has come to the hospital. Hearing this, drops of sweat started appearing on the doctor's forehead. Doctor, let's go quickly. He is very angry. Let's go. They go out of the cabin. Why has not the doctor came yet? He speaks in his cold voice. Hearing that man's cold voice, Daniel was about to say something when the doctor's voice comes. Mr. Jungkook, you are looking for me? The doctor comes to Jungkook and says, how is my wife? His voice was so cold that anyone's soul would tremble. Mr. Jungkook, your wife is fine right now, but she will regain consciousness only tomorrow morning. He was saying this with great fear. She should come to her senses tomorrow morning. Otherwise, you won't live to see the next morning. He says this in a very dangerous manner, which makes the doctor's body tremble. Saying this, Jungkook leaves from there, followed by his bodyguards. After Jungkook leaves, the doctor is still shivering when someone places a hand on the doctor's shoulder, feeling which scares him. Doctor, what happened? Why are you scared? Dr. Lisa, I was very close to my death. What do you mean, doctor? You won't understand, Dr. Lisa. Saying this, he went away from there. Jungkook was sitting on a sofa like a king and was looking at the 10 bodyguards in front of him with a killing intent. And seeing this, the bodyguards were trembling with fear. I hired all of you to protect her, but you guys could not protect her. That's why my princess is in a hospital bed today. He was saying this like a psychopath. Boss, please forgive us. We did not protect Madam well. You all know very well that I only punish those who make mistake, not forgive. Saying this, he shoots and kills all the bodyguards. Find out who he is dared to attack my princess. Saying this, he went away from there. All the bodyguards feel relieved after Jungkook leaves. The name of this person is Jungkook. In the eyes of the world, he is a businessman, but in the underworld, he is a dangerous mafia king who has no mercy in his heart. His age is 26 years, fair complexion, height 179 cm. He likes to stay away from girls. Till date, he has not been seen with any girl, due to which some people have misunderstood that he likes boys, not girls. Nurse, is my husband not here yet? Madam, I don't know when your husband will come. The nurse speaks angrily because you have been asking this question ever since you regained consciousness. Princess, I am here. When you hear Jungkook's voice, you look towards the door where Jungkook was standing, causing a smile to appear on your face. Hubby, your voice was low, but Jungkook could hear you clearly. Are you okay? He comes closer to you and says, while caressing your hair, I am fine, but why are you so late? Pout. You look so cute when you are angry like that. He pinches your nose and speaks. Then you let out a small scream. What happened? He asked worriedly. It hurts. Where? You said, pointing towards your stomach. Actually, there was a bullet in your stomach, due to which you were feeling some pain at the moment. Go and call the doctor. He speaks without looking at the nurse. The nurse was just looking at Jungkook without listening to him, because she had never seen such a handsome man before. Did not you hear what I said? He said angrily because the nurse was staring at him. And on top of that, she did not even go to call the doctor. Hearing Jungkook's angry voice, the nurse leaves the room to call the doctor. The doctor comes into the room, followed by the nurse. This man is very handsome. I wish I was his wife. She was thinking in her mind. When her eyes fall on you, she looks at you with hatred. What happened, Mr. Jungkook? Is there a problem? My wife is in pain. You check it out. Yes, Mr. Jungkook. Saying this, even as he moves towards you, he hears Jungkook's cold voice. Check my wife wearing gloves. He gets scared just by seeing Dr. Jungkook's eyes staring at him. Yes, Mr. Jungkook. Saying this, he starts checking you wearing gloves. Actually, Jungkook was so obsessed with you that he did not like anyone touching you except him. Mr. Jungkook, your wife is fine now. There is nothing to worry about. But she is in pain. He speaks in a cold tone. Mr. Jungkook, Mrs. Jeon had surgery yesterday. There will definitely be some pain. Heal his pain right now, he says angrily, glaring at the doctor. But Mr. Jungkook, what did I say? You did not hear well? He speaks in a dangerous voice. When the doctor heard this, he started crying in his heart. I will give madam an injection. Her pain will reduce. As soon as you hear the name of the injection, you grab Jungkook's hand. When Jungkook feels your hand in his, he looks at you. I don't want to get injection. There were tears in your eyes. The doctor is surprised to see this. Then Jungkook signals the doctor with his hand to give you an injection, which the doctor understands and gives you the injection. Come on, nurse. Hearing the doctor's words, the nurse's attention shifted from you, who was looking at you with hateful eyes. Saying this, the doctor leaves the room. The nurse also stares at both of you and walks out of the room. Jungkook was sitting on the couch, working on his laptop, and you were laying on the bed, staring at Jungkook. First, he injected me by distracting me, and now, when I am angry, he is doing his work instead of trying to convince me. He looks at you and says, Shameless man. Saying this, you turn your face to the other side. Seeing you like this brings a smile to Jungkook's face. Then the nurse brings you lunch. When the nurse eyes fall on Jungkook, she keeps looking at him. What are you doing standing there? His voice was cold. Sir, I brought lunch for madam. Give me lunch. I'll feed lunch to my wife. The nurse passes the lunch towards Jungkook with the intention of touching his hand. Put lunch on the table. I'll take it. The nurse gets angry when she hears this. The nurse does not say anything and puts the lunch on the table and stands aside. Jungkook comes over to you with lunch. Princess, get up and have lunch. You don't say anything even after hearing what Jungkook said. Princess, I said get up and have lunch. Jungkook speaks in a cold voice which scares you. Jungkook sits you nicely on the bed and starts feeding you the soup. You were staring at Jungkook. How many tantrums does she have? She was thinking while staring at you. Jungkook was feeding you soup when Daniel comes into the room. Boss, whatever you want to talk about it later. Boss, this is important. Put on the gloves and drink my wife the soup. He tells this to the nurse and walks out of the room with Daniel. A few minutes later, Jungkook came into the room after hearing your voice. What happened? Soup fell on my hand. Jungkook looks at your hand where the red mark was made. Sorry, sir. Soup accidentally spilled on madam. Get out of here. He speaks angrily. The nurse leaves the room. Daniel, call the doctor. Daniel goes to call the doctor. The doctor came and applied ointment on your hand and went away. Now Jungkook was feeding you lunch again. I don't want to eat anymore. Hearing this, Jungkook puts the plate aside and gives you the medicine. But you don't eat the medicine. Will you take the medicine or not? No. Actually, you were still angry due to which you were troubling him. Okay, really? You have to swallow medicine even if you don't want to. Now will you take the medicine yourself or will I feed you? After saying this, Jungkook was about to take the medicine in his mouth again when you take the medicine from him and eat it. Jungkook was sitting in a room when the door opens and Daniels brings the nurse into the room. She becomes happy when she sees Jungkook in front of her. Sir, did you call me? She speaks in her sweet voice. Jungkook, who was watching the video on the laptop, gets a smile on his face when he hears this sound. Ellie, he speaks in his cold voice, hearing which a girl comes and stands in front of Jungkook. You know what you have to do? Yes, boss. After saying this, he goes towards the nurse and starts slapping her. Her slap was hitting the nurse very hard because she was a well trained bodyguard. After some time, the cheeks of the nurse had turned red. The nurse was asking to leave herself, but no one was listening to her. Stop! Jungkook's deep and cold voice echoes throughout the room. As soon as Ellie stops slapping the nurse falls on the floor. Jungkook comes to the nurse, places his shoe on the nurse's hand and crushes it badly. She starts screaming loudly in pain and tries to pull her hand out of Jungkook's shoe. You intentionally spilled the soup on my princess with this hand of yours, right? He was speaking angrily. Sir, please forgive me. She was begging Jungkook. You tried to hurt my princess. There is no forgiveness for this mistake, only punishment. He speaks in his dangerous voice. Actually, Jungkook had seen the CCTV footage of your room, from which came to know that the nurse had deliberately poured the soup on you. Daniel, revoke her license and make sure she can't get a job anywhere else. Okay, boss. Sir, please forgive me. I made a mistake. Jungkook starts to leave the room without listening to the nurse. When he stops near the door, you dreamed beyond your means. That's why you are here today. Saying this, he walks out of the room. You were in the hospital for 2 days. Jungkook was also with you. Today you were about to be discharged, so a nurse was helping you and Jungkook was not there because he went out for some important work. Madam, your husband loves you very much. I know. Your cheeks turn red after hearing this. Then Jungkook comes into the room. Are you ready? You nodded. Jungkook comes over to you and walks out of the room, picking you up in his arms. Everyone was surprised to see the girl in Jungkook's arms. Who is this girl in Mr. Jungkook's arms? Don't know who she is. I think she is his girlfriend. Actually, your and Jungkook's marriage was not made public, which is why no one knew that you were Jungkook's wife. Jungkook was sitting in his seat thinking about something when Daniel comes into the study room. Boss, Mr. Lee was the one who got Madam attacked. Looks like he is calling his own doom. Smirk. When Jungkook comes into the room, he sees you sleeping peacefully. He goes near you and starts caressing your hair slowly. Princess, you are only mine. A man was sitting in a dark room when his assistant comes into the room. Boss, our share price is going down rapidly. He speaks fearfully. But how is it possible? He starts up from his seat. Boss, I think Mr. Jungkook did this. Jungkook, you did not do it right at all. Now you have to pay for it. He speaks angrily. This is Mr. Lee. He hates Jungkook because Jungkook killed his son. You get scared when you see a dead body in front of you. Seeing you scared, Jungkook quickly goes and hugs you. Relax, princess. Nothing happened. Why is this body here? You speak scared. Seeing you panic so much, Jungkook presses a vein near your neck, causing you to faint. Seeing your scared face, Jungkook clenches his fists in anger. Jungkook was very angry right now. If anyone had seen Jungkook's face, he would have been scared. Mr. Lee was breaking all the things in his house in anger. Boss, you should not be so angry. It is not good for your health. His assistant stops him and says, just shut up and get out of here. He says angrily while pushing him away. Mr. Lee was behaving exactly like a sociopath. Seeing this behavior of Mr. Lee, his assistant ran away from the villa in fear. Actually, Jungkook set fire to Mr. Lee's entire company. Mr. Lee was breaking things when his phone rings. When he received the call, he heard Jungkook's voice. Did you like my gift? Jungkook, I think you have gone mad. I will destroy you. You will only be able to destroy me if you survive. What do you mean? He asks. Jungkook, but By then, the call has been disconnected and the villa explodes with a sound. Princess, you are my obsession. If anyone tries to take you away from me, I'll destroy him completely. Jungkook says while caressing your hair. Subscribe for more interesting FF.